Well, St. Paul's letters to the Galatians, as I told the people in Ashland yesterday, is probably the letter in which Paul is probably the most angriest, very direct, and very upset with what has happened in a city called Galatia, which is in modern-day Turkey. And so with all that, the main issue is that the teaching that St. Paul has given them, they've kind of forsaken, they've set aside, and there's a large contingent, a large group of people there that are forcing the Gentile Christians, those Gentiles who believe in Christ, to follow the old law, to be circumcised, to follow all the dietary restrictions. And again, it seems to be getting some really strong movement within the city. And so St. Paul begins the letter, we heard the beginning of it yesterday, where St. Paul kind of starts to describe his journey, describe his conversion. And then today he kind of picks up on that, where he's describing his mission to the Gentiles, of how he was entrusted with this gospel to preach to the Gentiles faith in Christ. And then he gets into some pastoral issues, some conflicts within the church. Even in the very early Christianity, there was disputes, there was disagreements over very important leaders. In this case, St. Paul and St. Peter, who St. Paul calls Cephas in this letter, Cephas or whatever. And so what was happening is Peter, James, and John, especially Peter and John, had no issues with the Gentiles, and the Gentiles remaining, Gentiles not practicing the old law. They were eating with them and associating with them. And everything was fine until a group of followers from Jerusalem came up. Followers, again, who believed more in the old law type of mentality. And when they saw them coming, they decided to move themselves away from the Gentiles. They didn't want to upset anybody. That's pretty much what it came down to. Peter, John, they didn't want to upset people. And so St. Paul says, I oppose him to his face because he was clearly in the wrong. For until some people came from James, he used to eat with Gentiles. But when they came, he began to draw back and separate himself because he was afraid of the circumcised. And the rest of the Jews acted hypocritically along with him, with the result that even Barnabas was carried away by their hypocrisy. And so I said to Cephas in front of all, if you, though a Jew, are living like a Gentile, not like a Jew, how can you compare Gentiles to live like Jews? So I don't know if there's much of a faith or spiritual lesson in this. I guess the one is the fact that first and foremost, that these things do happen, that it's really a product of Satan, a product of evil one, to cause division within the church. And he's been at it for the last 2,000 years, and we've seen many, many divisions. It's actually just throughout the whole history of the church. It's just one argument after another, one council after another, settling a dispute of some sort. It's always here. It's Satan can't get to Christ, so he's going to get to the followers. And he's going to break the communion. He's going to break the unity. It happens within the church. It happens in dioceses, and it happens in parishes. And I would say this parish is just like any other parish. There's factions. There's people who don't like each other. It is what it is. But we got to strive, and we got to say, okay, what is our goal? What is our mission? We need to be on the same page as far as what's the end result. The end result is our sainthood. Both St. Peter and St. Paul, though they had a disagreement here as the way, St. Peter was conducting himself, but they still both ended up to be saints. That's our mission. Whether you like the person or not, whether you like him or not, or like her or not, our same goal is sainthood. And Satan's going to try to cause division. He's going to try to prevent that from happening. But we got to stay on task and on mission on what we need to do. God bless you.